A group of residents has taken drastic action to try and save their hospital, the closest emergency facility for one of Australia's biggest annual sporting events. They've blockaded a major road, accusing the federal and Victorian governments of putting lives at risk.
On the only bridge connecting Phillip Island to the mainland, hundreds marched, as almost all traffic was blocked. For 84 years, the Phillip Island community has funded its own hospital and nursing home, the Warley, because governments wouldn't. Now, just weeks after it considered selling medical equipment to pay staff, the hospital has announced it will close.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're protesting about being ripped off.
During the federal election, the coalition promised a $2.5 million bailout, but the new Labor government won't match it.
This is a private hospital for private patients.
And the Victorian government won't help either.
This is a private aged care facility predominantly funded by the Commonwealth.
Warley Hospital can be saved, should be saved and must be saved.
For the more than 90,000 people who attend the Australian Motorcycle Grand Prix each year, it means help is even further away.
We need the facilities for all the visitors to come here.
Even when it isn't clogged by holiday makers and Grand Prix spectators, it still takes around 40 minutes on this road to reach an alternative hospital.
We're going to have to go to Wonthaggi, which is overloaded anyhow, so they'll chip us on to Monash, which is another hour and a half away. We need our hospital.
Christopher Still, 10 News.
Under arrest, police smash a child pornography ring with links to Victoria. Heartless thieves steal treasured mementos from a young boy's grave. And marching en masse in the fight to save Phillip Island's hospital.
This is National 9 News with Brett McLeod.
Hundreds of people have joined the fight to save Phillip Island's community hospital. They've marched across the bridge at San Remo in protest over the decision to close Warley Hospital and are pleading for the state government to step in. Jamie Wilczek joined them.
The message was both loud and clear.
Save our hospital! Come save our hospital!
The closure of the hospital is disgusting.
The police, emergency services, it's going to be bedlam.
Phillip Island's Warley Hospital has provided acute and aged care services to locals and tourists for more than 80 years.
It's leaving a growing community with special events all year round without a hospital.
The state government will not take responsibility but say they will be involved in discussions about the hospital's future.
Well, it's a question about what services are provided at this facility and who has funded it, and the Commonwealth Government is the predominant funder of this institution.
It's not a private hospital, it's a community hospital, and he won't support it. We've got 1 million visitors to Phillip Island and we've got beds closing. What's he going to do when there's an emergency?
Residents will now have to travel at least 45 minutes by road to Wonthaggi for hospital care.
With all the major events and people coming to the Pegman Parade, and we'll lose lives from the road being gridlocked.
We just have so many people, so much development, so many people moving down here, retiring here, and it's just so essential that we have a hospital here.
Save the hospital!
Jamie Wilczek, National 9 News.
Live from Melbourne, this is 7 News with Rebecca Madden.
Hundreds of Phillip Island residents have staged a rally calling for help to save their hospital. The Warley Community Hospital is in danger of closing at the end of January unless the federal government provides extra funding for its aged care services. The federal opposition is calling on the new health minister to give the hospital the $2.5 million pledged by the former Howard government. Phillip Island residents are stepping up their campaign to save the Warley Hospital. They need to convince the state government to fund 4 public beds, but with the Commonwealth already talking to the hospital's board about finding new homes for the aged care residents, time is running out.
Protesters gathered in solidarity on the mainland, marching across the bridge to Phillip Island.
Save Warley Hospital! Save Warley Hospital!
Locals believe the Warley Hospital would survive if the state government stepped in and funded just 4 public beds. But the government won't agree to their rescue plan.
I've got a new name for Mr. Brumby, Mr. Nothing. does nothing, spends nothing, presides over a government that does nothing.
Police stopped traffic for the demonstrators, and those too frail to walk were bussed across.
This is the first time the San Remo Bridge has been used in a protest. Locals say it shows the extent of community feeling that so many people have turned out to march.
The hospital has been a cherished community asset for the past 84 years.
I was born at Warley Hospital. My brothers and sisters were born there. I work there and my mum works there.
The Federal Health Minister met with the hospital board on Friday. Discussions included plans for the residents who live in Warley's 35-bed nursing home.
This is a private facility for private patients, and the decision has been made by the board that it's not financially viable for them to continue to provide those services. The planning of state-funded beds is obviously a matter for the state government.
But the state government says it already funds the hospital's out-of-hours on-call service.
This is a private aged care facility predominantly funded by the Commonwealth.
Mr Rudd promised to end the blame game, but apparently ending the blame game means neither the federal government nor the state government are responsible.
The hospital is due to close at the end of January. Pauline Braniff, ABC News, Phillip Island.